wild card coming into this. Obviously, Kylar Alice, with the limited number of tournaments Australia has had, and the fact that nobody ends up matching up with him that's here and ranked.
None of the NAE
he's also a wild
him.
card as well, and because he's not in a lot of tournaments, there's not really VOD footage to go back and look over. I mean, he does stream, so you can look at his streams, but obviously, you know, people play differently on stream than they do in a serious competitive circuit tournament.
But it looks like we are getting started off. Kylar Alice over to this Bodvar pick. Going back to the last time I saw Kylar Alice in tournament, he was playing a Vrax, which was a very mean Vrax. But on the other side, Cosolix, not too surprising to see the roll-in, as really what's been on a lot of players' tongues this weekend is how well Cosolix has been playing Lance.
And that's what he's been focusing on. I mean, he's been focusing on that from the beginning, back when he played Scarlet. But once the down signature kind of got nuked, a lot of people thought like he was just going to be gone. He was going to be neutered by that, and that he was riding that gimmick to the top. But obviously, it's not that. He's been playing a very defensive Lance since we've seen him today. He does a lot of backup sidelights. He does a lot of grounded stairs as well. And so what we saw earlier that was effective against him was outrunning the grounded stairs, and then I think just backing up and parrying the grounded sidelight as well.
Yeah, I think it was Dobrain who knocked him down into the lower bracket, but it was still a reasonably close set between the two of them.
Absolutely.
I didn't quite catch the end score, but I don't believe Dobrain completely 3-0 wiped Cosolix.
He definitely didn't.
So he's definitely a major player in his own right. His lance play has been solid today, but it looks like he's gonna shore up that sword play. Goes for the roll and edge guard. That neutral signature likely would have followed up with a neutral light. Kylar Alice gets caught.
That down signature is like virtually unpunishable.
I mean, the fact that you can immediately neutralize after it is such a good just safety net.
And I'm glad that he's doing that now, because I don't think he was doing that earlier. He was just throwing out the signature. I want to see him throwing out that neutral light right after that as the defensive option. Kylar's going to end up falling, so we have a basically even game so far. And something that Creed noted earlier was just look at Cosolix's posture and the way he holds the controller.
Oh yeah, I looked.
Like,
I noticed
up and right in front of him. Like, that's interesting. That's different.
That is not a very laid back. On the other side, Kylar Alice is also playing with controller, but he's got it much more down. Much more just like in the lap, kind of casual.
That's exactly where I hold mine when I'm playing. And that is interesting that both of these players are controller players. Not a lot of those. It seems like fewer and fewer every time we check. Magma Bob's changed off. Daiku's changed off. Those are kind of the recent ones that have changed off of. Stevenator as well have left the controller scene and now been on the keyboard scene.
Starlight was kind of the last herald of the keyboard players out there. He has since been knocked out. Very real possibility. Well, actually, just straight up facts. One of these keyboard or controller players is going to get knocked out, as Kylar Alice does pick up that ground pound above Cosolix. But you see in Cosolix, for a moment, puts it down, takes a sigh, but he immediately picks it back up. That's that tight knit, keeps the controller close to the chest alongside his cards and tricks. Juggle.
Getting chased into the air, ends up shutting down Kylar's momentum with that down air.
No
He's going to end up
jumps.
falling, but this game is still so close, but it's been Kylar getting the first kill every time. Even though Cosolix has been turning it around immediately on when you're on last stock and you get the first kill, like, that's the game. So even if it's just a little bit of a lead, it's a lead nonetheless.
As long as Kylar can maintain that momentum, but he's got to be wary about this Cosolix lance. This is what everyone's been talking about. Those quick jump nairs alongside those sidelights and those stairs are so punishing against the opponents. You're seeing them, again, go for that stair. Nice sidelight stair from Cosolix. Can he finish the stock? Needs to stuff it. No! But he's got another opportunity. Again, stuffs it, and that is going to do it. Kylar Alice.
The first one he took ended up giving Cosolix the chase dodge on hit, so he was able to get back. The second one, that did not happen. Wisely taking that to the face. He knew it wasn't going to kill him at that point, even when it's fully cranked back. Smart choice by Kylar Alice. Taking that, I'm not going to say convincingly, because that was close between
those
these
final
two.
stocks.
That hammer was really struggling for quite a while until the end when he ended up hitting that side air that essentially gave him the stock towards the end.
Well, one of the big, solid on-arm start, but one of the big things for Hammer is that the utility in that side air. Side air is such a strong space control tool, but when you're going up against a Lance, Lance has arguably the best side air in the sense that it'll out-prioritize almost any other weapon.
I would slightly disagree with that. I think Hammer side air actually has the longest range in terms of just raw.
Well, going back,
with it.
when you're playing Lance and your opponent's playing Jumpy, all you do is side air at them, and you'll win out against basically any weapon, including Hammer.
I think with the timing, if you're able to time it better, Hammer will end up having the longer range with the side air, but you do have to time it much more efficiently. Obviously, the active frames for Lance side air are going to give that a serious edge in the long run in terms of timing.
We are seeing Kylar Alice, his Hammer did end up finishing off Cosolix's stock, but there's that turnaround from Cosolix. He's doing a great job of staying inside of it, trading relatively evenly with Kylar Alice, but again, Kylar Alice has been finishing stocks off just slightly ahead of Cosolix.
Cosolix keeping Kylar weapon starved. He ends up picking up at least one unarmed recovery. He does have that Hammer. There's the jump side air.
Sidelight side air from Cosolix. No follow-up. Generally, you'll see players who want to go for that sidelight side air try to chase with that follow-up dare or nair, but Cosolix just going for that quick sidelight side air back up.
Yeah, he really goes for that reset game. He doesn't necessarily chase off stage a lot. He does it occasionally, but he really tries to reset a lot into that sidelight, into the side air, or the grounded side air, mixing it up between those two. There's a raw recovery. Kylar is in the red, taking some serious damage.
Ooh, Cosolix getting that juggled in there. Not going to be really a kill option. Good gravity cancel downlight from Kylar Alice, but wasn't able to get that follow-up. And now he's slowing down completely, but Cosolix just goes in. Goes for the sidelight recovery, takes the stock off of Kylar Alice.
You see Kylar Alice kind of, I think, grinning a little bit in frustration that Cosolix was able to get that. He has to be a little bit rattled right now. He did take the first game, but it was kind of just barely as he takes a couple recoveries, gets a nair to the face as well.
All right, big Sair from Kylar is going to disarm, is going to send Cosolix off. And Cosolix doesn't have the jumps, knows it, ground pounds away. And Kylar with a very long Hammer charge, not quite sure which weapon he's going to stick with. It's going to be the Hammer.
I don't think he saw nearly as many jump nairs coming out of Cosolix against Dobrain, because that's something that Dobrain was able to effectively do. He was combating the grounded side airs with like a scythe dare. That's how he was beating that, by initiating it from the air, and then he was able to beat the sidelights by just backing up and then using his scythe downlight or his spear sidelight or something like that to punish. But now if Kylar tries to initiate from the air, Cosolix is really using those jump nairs to cover that 360-degree hitbox around him. And I don't know if that's just adapting to, maybe he went back and thought about why he ended up losing to Dobrain, but he's doing that a lot more effectively here. And that's one of the reasons he just took out Kylar in that game, and that's why he was able to shut down those aerial approaches.
Kylar Alice is currently at 1 apiece with Cosolix. This kid Cosolix, he's kind of the no-name, the underdog that nobody really knew what to expect from him, but he is doing work today. Solid lands play really for him. Not sure if Kylar Alice can kind of take a page out of Dobrain's book, use that kind of back step to punish the sidelight. He really, I think he should be trying to bait more with the dodge in, dodge up, dodge in, dodge back kind of stuff, just to see if he can bait Cosolix into attack and punish, because that's one of the big things about Lance is punishing those attacks.
We haven't seen a lot of the downlight, though. That's one of Lance's fastest moves. It's a very high-damaging move as well, and that's something we don't actually see a lot from Lance mains. You see that more when, like, Boomy picks up Lance, or there's another player that's just kind of touring Lance for a little while, but not the Lance mains like I Can't Kill Anyone or Cosolix or a lot of the other players. So I'm glad to see, or I'm hoping to see some more downlight potential coming out from Cosolix if Kylar is able to get in, but that's one of the things is, if he's keeping Kylar at range with the sidelights, with the grounded Sairs, then he doesn't really need to use that defensive downlight very much.
I think we saw Emperor Mini going for a couple of those downlights, trying to chase dodge after it with that neutral light. He was pretty effective at it, got some decent damage. But like you were saying, not too common to see that Lance downlight. It's generally like players who aren't Lance mains who just go, oh yeah, this move's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's truly an incredible move. I have the data right here in front of me. Let me find that real quick. 9 startup frames, does 18 damage. That's kind of ridiculous.
With the follow-up potential of a neutral light as well, that can add up very quickly, but Cosolix not even needing it as he has gotten Kylar Alice into the red on his second stock with just this lance play. This is Cosolix's real main weapon, is this lance play. The recovery is going to kill for Kylar Alice, but he is very far behind, is going to basically need a Gimp at this point.
Sidelight recovery, and that's going to kill, even though it is off of that very high blast zone on Shipwreck. That was eventually lowered just because it was so high. Like, gimping Cosolix is going to be really, really tough, because even if you get like 2 dares with Sword, at low health, like, Roland's going to be able to tank that. He might be in a little bit of a dangerous spot, but if he's able to get back, then you've hit him with 2 dares. Like, that's not going to be very much damage in the long run. You're actually going to have to really confirm those kills and really worry about all the aerial movement that he has with the lance.
But on the other side, he does have a lance. It is one of the easier weapons to stuff. We saw Kylar Alex stuffing those recoveries. If he can kind of maintain that, punish Cosolix for maybe panic jumping, then he could get his stock off. But at the rate that this is going, Cosolix is just winning out in the neutral game. Kylar Alex really struggling to find what he needs against Cosolix. This is do or die for Kylar Alex. This is his tournament stock.
That neutral light didn't hit when it was almost stacked. I think I ran into that with Magma Bob the other day, and I was so mad that it didn't hit stacked. And Air's just barely missing the side air on the wrong side. Side light. Oh my gosh, into side air coming out from Cosolix. He is able to use that so well. He keeps using it over and over and over again. Dobrain ended up figuring it out. Kylar couldn't figure that out, or maybe Cosolix has just adapted that a little bit better. And so Kylar's out, man.